Hey, everybody, welcome again to another conversation. These are so magnificent. I thought when I posted this to have 50 conversations with 50 people that it was going to take me. I thought, well, wouldn't it be romantic if I made that happen in 50 days? And then people told me, no, you're never going to get the 50 people in 50 days. I don't even think it's going to take 10 days. I mean, there's so many people are signing up. It's so incredible. And the conversations are so rich and so beautiful. And one of the things that I'm finding, which I didn't even know, but I'm so happy with, is as soon as you sit and speak to someone that you've never spoken to before, rather than the persona that the world shows us of how different we are and how separate we are and how isolated we are from each other, what I've been finding in these conversations is how similar we all are. How people could be saying something and it feels like it's coming right out of my own mouth. And it feels like, how is it possible, just in general, how is it possible that we can feel so close to people we've never met before? And is there really a model that we haven't been able to see? Because we've been shown a model of we have different color skin, or we live behind a different border, or we have a different economic ratio, or we practice a different religion. But what I'm finding is underneath all that, which is very much what the Mosaic set talks about, is underneath all of that, we are all very, very, very connected and very similar. So it's really my honor today to I just bring Sharon Smith on. She came on the screen. I know very little about her, but what I do know and what I just loved is as soon as we saw each other, we just started laughing. Now, a lot of people do that with me because I'm funny looking, but she's not funny looking. But there was just a joy level that was just so enjoyable. And she just said, we're going to laugh a lot today. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we laugh a lot. But I just want to say, Sharon, welcome. And how are you?
I'm great. I am totally great today, and I so appreciate you having me on, Danny. And just for everybody, when he sent me a message on Facebook and said, can we schedule a conversation, I accused him of being a skanky marketer. It wasn't about that at all. So we actually have some mutual stuff to laugh about now.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I want to talk about pain and connection.
Wow.
And hope.
Wow. Okay,
I love that. Yeah, I told you we're going to have fun. I promise.
So before we launch in, so often we just say, how are you? And people say, fine. What I really wanted to ask is, just take a minute and tell me really how you're doing. How are you doing with in this situation? How are you doing with everything being canceled? How are you doing with, race relations? How are you doing with presidential elections? How are you doing with the world outside? How are you doing?
If I was any better, I would be twins. There would be two of me you'd be looking at. I am really good because when COVID happened, it required all of us to become still and to stop all the frantic business of our lives. And I believe that we are in the middle of a miracle unfolding. Can you think of anything else that could happen that would stop us and yet not kill all of us?
Yeah.
I couldn't envision it, but it did it. But when we became still as a requirement, it threw a whole lot of us into the spiritual fast lane. Does that sound familiar there? So, yeah. All of the things that are happening exactly right. The way, I can roll with it better because I see a greater thing happening and I see where we're headed. I know it's going to be okay, but no great social change ever looks very good when you are smack in the middle of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You and I believe you and I are the same age. I remember when Martin Luther King was marching.
How come you look way better than I do if we're the same age? That's not fair.
I know. I'm going to tell you why. I know better stuff than you do.
There you go.
Oh, you look, you got your channeling ZZ Top. You got that
That's right.
ZZ Top
That's right.
going on. So
I,
yeah,
I, I feel it. So I agree with some of what you said, and I also just want to put in perspective because I speak to a lot of people now, especially now with these conversations. And for those people who are inclined towards spirituality or who are comfortable in their own self, COVID has been a roller coaster ride, but a good one towards a quicker exploration of themselves. But there are a lot of people who have not had taken the time, thought about it, really spent the time being a part of getting to know themselves. And for
that's right.
many of those people, they're going through really not the sickness of COVID, because not, thank God they don't have that, but they're going
They're in
through
the
an
sickness of
emotional,
fear.
yeah, they're going through an emotional fear. And so talk of that. I don't, you already
Sickness
have my
of fear.
words. I don't need to say them.
No, it's okay. Which I'm going to start by talking about what pain is and about what I do, because there are some deep spiritual implications here. This isn't a surface thing. And I teach these things in a vastly different way than anybody else who does what I do is out there teaching it. Uh, Pain is actually an information system in the body. It gets a bad rap, but it is here to get our attention because we are, and it's telling us stuff about our bodies and our lives. It's trying to begin a dialogue with us, but we haven't had the tools to actually know how to listen. Or if we could listen, we didn't have a tool to work with what we heard. And I'm teaching this and providing it. And it's not a thing where everybody has to come to me to learn it. You can learn it and do it for yourself. It belongs to all of us. And the primary tools that I use are guided visualization, which is, we'll do some here in a little bit if you've got time.
Yeah.
And I use tapping, which is what I call emotional freedom technique, or EFT. And it is a meridian tapping based mind body tool. Now, the way that works is that we are electrical in nature. And it's based on acupuncture. And you know the meridians, we've all seen the diagrams of that. And we're electrical, and we know this isn't anything woo-woo. People don't want to do stuff if they think it's weird. Well, it isn't. If you've ever had an EKG, you know they're measuring the electrical output of your heart. Electroencephalogram is brain activity. Our electrical charge is being used by Western medicine as a diagnostic tool all the time, every day. It's not a big thing. Okay, so this charge that's flowing through our bodies it's in all of us, and it connects us to others, but it's primarily flowing these big rivers along the meridians. I believe that these are a schematic of our actual physical wiring, if you will. So when you're tapping, you're doing this and you're tapping meridian endpoints, and you are physically accessing the charge that flows through your body, and you're using it as a self-help tool, not a diagnostic tool. Now, it's also doing a second thing. You're also speaking out loud while you're doing this, and you are directly addressing your own subconscious, because our brain is wired just like the motherboard in a computer. And we have programs from childhood. You're getting this. Oh, that's the face I like. Yeah, it's like, yes. We have programs, a lot of them from childhood, that we got from our parents. And they're running in the background all the time, and you can make changes to these programs. Now, EFT proposes that when you experience one of the big three so-called negative emotions, fear, anger, grief, it can cause a short in your wiring, in your physical wiring, that results in pain and or dis-ease.
So pause for a minute, because
Mm-hmm.
you're running in very quickly, and I love it, but I just want to make sure people have a chance to grok some of what you're saying. Okay?
Yes, thank you for that
Because
reference.
the pause between our words is also as important as the words. So as Sharon is speaking, I'm talking to those people that are listening. What are you feeling? Are you finding pockets of resistance? Are you finding acceptance? How are you relating to the words that she's saying? Do you understand and do you agree that we are made up of an electrical system that runs through our body? And that by tapping on certain places where grief and guilt and shame have short circuited that we would experience pains in our body. Does that all make sense to you? I'm assuming that it does because as she says it, it so makes sense to me. But I want you to just listen to what your own inner voice is saying. And do you feel that? And what do you feel as you feel that? And if this is new for you, celebrate it. How fabulous. Because everything that we're doing was new one day to somebody. It's just
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
And
And
so
wow, we look silly doing this. So big deal.
yeah. But for me, it isn't even that. Like if we were to know that we would do something and it would make us feel better, who cares how we look when we do it? Do you think we look any better eating a lobster? I mean, it's just it looks silly also. Or do you think we look any better playing baseball or trying to hit a ball with a bat? I mean, it's all still silly until it makes sense, until it
Yeah.
becomes incorporated. So let me pause you just for vibrationally, okay? And just go to something fun. And then we'll come back because I want to just give people a little space to breathe, okay?
Okay.
Lightning round. I want you to answer which one of these two things is you more than the other. Dog, are you a dog person or a cat person?
Cat.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Do you consider yourself someone who is in the box or someone who's out of the box?
Oh, I'm I don't usually even know there's a box. I'm out of it, I guess.
What box? Okay. I love
Can you show it to me?
I love that. Um, are you someone who feels it's important to say what they feel, or is it more important to listen to what other people feel?
The two things are equally important. I
Okay.
don't give, for me, it's balance because there can't be any response unless I've listened deeply.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I thought about what I wanted to say here with you today before I came on, but it's like with my tapping videos when I'm doing that or working with a client, I don't think about what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I really don't. What I do is listen, feel into it, and establish flow.
Okay.
It's not by me, it's through me
Okay.
for
Beautiful.
all of it.
Do you feel like you fit into the world, or do you feel like you're different?
Oh, I think I fit in beautifully because I'm different.
You are like out of the box all across the board. I love that. Um,
Well, I
no, but I
told you
like,
that this time.
but I love your answers because it's just the beauty of asking these things is you really get to see who a little bit of who a person is by just
Yeah.
simple choices, right? Are you a person of the head or the heart?
Uh, I would have to say heart, but I'm perfectly content to occasionally let my head lead.
Okay. Are you a leader or a follower?
Oh, I lead. There's no question there.
Okay.
Well, I don't really care whether anybody follows me or not.
Right.
I
Right.
just decide where I'm going and I go.
Love it. Love it. So I get a sense that this is already answered. But if you didn't have to worry about money, would you be doing what you're doing today, or would you be doing something else?
Yeah. Oh, I'd be doing this in a heart. I actually don't have to do this. And people are like, "Oh, is this going to really help me?" Uh, Trust me, if this wasn't nearly magic, I would be doing something else.
Yeah.
I can do, I don't have to do this if I don't want to. I think I have the best job in the world. I I always have felt that way. And I've been doing this for a lot of years, since like 2005. So I'm not new at this.
Yeah.
But the thing I want to tell you,
So
and
go
I'm
ahead.
circling back, we talked about the electricity that's running through us. I think that that has different names depending on where you live in the world. If you live in Asia, it's kirchi. If you're in India, it's prana. In this culture, I believe we're talking about our spirit. So actively, measurably flowing through us at all times. Now, you know how people tell you to stay hydrated? And you're drinking, you and I are, cheers, darling. We're drinking as we talk. You know how people tell you to stay hydrated, but nobody ever really tells you why?
Yeah.
Would you like to know why?
So I have a feeling we're going to find out why right now.
Okay. So we know we're electrical. We talked about that, and it's measurable. What happens if you go to start your car in the morning and the battery is low on fluid? Your car isn't going to start because the battery can't carry a charge. The exact same thing is happening in your physiology. If you are not properly hydrated, if there's not enough water in you, the electrical charge that flows through you can't flow without impediment. And it can make it easier to short your wiring out, and it can make it harder to repair a short. And water isn't a thing. We've treated it like it's an inanimate thing, and in fact it isn't. Every single drop of it that's ever been here on the planet is still here. And it's been in dinosaurs and the ocean and cats and plants and trees. And it's all still here, every drop of it. Now, it may not always be where we want it to be or think it should be, but it's all still here. And quite a few years ago, and I know you know who this is, a man by the name of Masaru Emoto wrote a book called Hidden Messages in Water. He set out to take photographs of water crystals. And they found an interesting thing, like Tokyo City water crystals were broken and misshapen. And spring water was beautiful, symmetrical crystals. And then they found a thing they didn't expect. They found that when they said nice stuff to the broken crystals in a jar and photographed them again, that they had reformed and become symmetrical. The same thing happened if you said bad stuff to them. So they would break.
Yeah, not
So
the same thing. The opposite thing would happen if you said bad thing. They would deform and they would get disease and they
right,
would break. Right.
right. So think about the implications with how much we are water and our self-talk.
Yes.
We say bad stuff to ourselves all the time, and I want us to stop doing that.
So when
But I
I
wanted to,
let me jump in for a minute.
yeah,
When I was at Hay House, I brought a moto to Hay House to be published. And I also started a clothing line because I was thinking if people are buying these words of these famous authors, why wouldn't they want to wear them as clothes, as the memoirs of what they were doing? And then Emoto came into my life and I sat with him, and he doesn't speak English, or didn't at that point. He didn't speak English, and I sat with him through a translator. And I said, so if what you say is true, which I believe it is, but I'm going to put it as an if because I don't know it for 100% sure. If what you say is true, that if you put nice words, good words under your glass of water or write them on your jar, that the molecular structure of the water actually changes and you drink happy water by having happy on your jar. We're made up of 80% water plus. What would happen if we wore those same words or sayings or mantras on our bodies through our clothing? And he said, Danny, without a doubt, you would change the molecular structure of people's bodies. So I said, would you be willing to let me highlight your work by using that as the theme of what I do? Because I'm going to do it anyway, but I don't have to highlight you. But why not build your work and let people know that this is possible, and it would help me and it would help you? He said, I would love that. And so I came out with a line of clothes called Zensei, that we're selling in Neiman Marcus, that we're selling all in all the high-end spas and resorts, and I knew nothing about making clothes. So the idea is very real, and people just loved it because they just felt better wearing it. So I believe
You did.
100% what you're saying.
Well, why do you think every single culture, as far as I know, all over the world, has handed down through generations explicit instructions to offer thanks in some way before they eat and drink? It's
Hmm.
it's pretty much universal. What if that has nothing to do with religion, but it has everything to do with requesting, giving gratitude and requesting a change in the molecular structure of what you're about to consume to fit your own physiology?
Love it. Love it.
Without water, water actually animates spirit. We cannot be incarnate without water. I believe it may be where collective consciousness is stored. I can't prove it,
Yeah.
but we can't be here without it. Not
Yeah.
not in this that we're wearing.
In fact, there were people, as Elon Musk takes people to Mars, or is thinking to take people to Mars. The conversation 10 years ago was no one could ever live on Mars because there isn't water on Mars, or they couldn't detect water on Mars. So water is that essential to a person's life. They say that you can go weeks without food, you can go days, or maybe days without water. And the other interesting thing that you spoke of, which I'm sure you'll speak of more, is that you can only go seconds without breath. So the air that we breathe is
Why?
it. We
Yeah.
can't live without air, water, and food to a lesser degree. There are people who fast and don't eat food, but there's virtually nobody that doesn't have water or air.
Aren't we cool? I mean,
Great.
we humans are the most. I think we may be the most fabulous creatures ever designed. I I am in awe of us pretty much every day.
I hope you enjoy it for a little while, because soon AI is going to become a very awe-inspiring creature, and galactic intelligence is going to come and become an even more interesting being. And so the
Sure.
human species is going to go from the smartest minds in the universe to the second or third smartest mind in the universe.
I'm not convinced that we are the smartest, even on this planet.
There you go. Okay.
There are two. There's sentience everywhere,
Yeah.
and I hear them.
So it didn't take me 28 minutes for me to not be surprised by that response. Because I love the way you think about the world, and I love the insights you have. It's very innovative, and I love it. So continue and tell us about what you say. I have other questions for you, but I just want to.
Well, and we've been out there, we got out here into the spiritual part of it. And for those of you who are watching this, you're going, okay, yeah, this makes sense. And my knee hurts. What the heck are we going to do about that?
Yeah.
So let's come back, because I teach practical stuff here. And what we do is go in and do some guided visualization and look at what's underneath the pain. What emotions are there? And then we're going to use this tool and shift the pain
Okay.
by shifting the emotions. So, do you want to try it on? Oh,
Um,
you
yeah, I'm happy to try it on. I just want to keep. I don't know how long that it's going to take, and so what I would rather us do is I'm happy to try it on with you because I love the
okay?
idea, and I just want to keep it limited. I don't want it to go much more than another 10 or 15 minutes.
It
And
won't.
there are other things that I want to ask you. So,
Oh, well, ask me something right now. It won't. We're talking like less than 5 minutes.
okay,
It's
great.
not long.
Okay, great. Let's do it then. Let's not now that we've lobbed it over the net. Let's do it.
Okay. So, where do you hurt?
I have pain all through my body. I've had about a level 8 pain all throughout my body for about 6 or 7 years, and I understand. And I talk to my body, and I listen to my body, and I still have this pain that feels like it is trying to say something to me, and is also feels like it is a gift that it wants me to understand.
That's right. It is. Okay. And I glanced at you.
Knees would be knees and lower back would be probably the.
Okay. All right. So both knees right now, I want you to move them a little bit and give that pain a number between 0 and 10, with 10 being agony and 0 being no pain.
They're probably about a 7. Let's say they're a
About a
7.
7? Okay, good. I mean, I'm sorry. In my line of work, good. Yes, it
Good.
hurt.
Yeah.
I cannot bill myself as the queen of pain, although it is tempting. That just brings up too many weird images. So, all right. So I want you to take a big breath in through your nose and close your eyes and hold it. And keep your eyes closed and blow the breath out. Now, using your imagination, I want you to look at your knees from the inside. Just relax into it, because they're yours, they're fine. And tell me how that looks. Do you see a color, a shape, a texture in there? How's it look in there?
I see a rubbing. I don't see things that much, but what I see is I don't see much space between the bones. There's bone on
Okay.
bone.
Okay. If you had to guess, just use your imagination, what emotion would you think is there? Now I'm looking at it with you. I see what you got there. So
Mm-hmm.
just the first thing that comes to mind, Danny. You're not going to be wrong. They're your knees, darling.
I would say either guilt or shame.
Okay. Okay. All right. So open your eyes. Now, what we're going to do is some tapping, and it's simple. All you're going to do, it's kind of a Simon Says thing. All you're going to do is tap where I tap and just repeat after me. And we aren't going to say anything real weird.
It's okay. Nothing too weird for me.
I know. Yeah, I figured. Okay, so outside, and it's completely bilateral. You can tap either hand, either side, wherever feels good to you. So let's just start here and say, I've got a lot of pain in my knees.
I've got a lot of pain in my knees.
And I think I've got some guilt in there.
And I think I've got some guilt in there.
And maybe some other stuff.
And maybe some other stuff.
And I've tried to let it go.
And I've tried to let it go.
And I'm aware of it.
And I'm aware of it.
But I can't.
But I can't.
But I choose to be okay anyway.
But I choose to be okay anyway.
Because I completely love and accept myself.
Because I completely love and accept myself.
Okay, now let's just go to the top of the head. I got a lot of pain in my knees.
I got a lot of pain in my knees.
And I've got guilt and shame stuck there.
And I've got guilt and shame stuck there.
And some of this came.
And some of this came.
Because I hate being bossed around.
Because I hate being bossed around.
I really hate being told what to do.
I hate being told what to do.
Even by somebody I might love.
Even by somebody I might love.
If I don't agree with them.
If I don't agree with them.
But because I have done a lot of work.
But because I've done a lot of work.
To be kind and compassionate.
To be kind and compassionate.
It just didn't fit in with oh, I'm sorry, we're tapping under the arm here.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. I couldn't see where you were. Okay.
It didn't fit in with my view of myself.
It didn't fit in with my view of myself.
To tell them to buzz off.
To tell them to buzz off.
So I stuck it in my knees.
So I stuck it in my knees.
But I'm open to letting it go now.
But I'm open to letting it go now.
It's safe to let it go.
It's safe to let it go.
I didn't mean to hurt myself.
I didn't mean to hurt myself.
I love me.
I love me.
And I even love the people that kind of annoyed me.
And I even love the people that kind of annoy me.
But being as chill as I've worked to be.
But being as chill as I've worked to be.
Is a little bit like creating a warm, fuzzy blanket.
Is a little like creating a warm, fuzzy blanket.
And throwing it over a forest fire.
And throwing it over a forest fire.
Because I have big energy.
Because I have big energy.
And it's safe to let my knees feel better now.
And it's safe to let my knees feel better now.
Okay, now hold your wrist points, top and bottom. Breathe. And blow it out. And say peace. And move.
Move?
Yeah, move your knees.
Okay.
How do they feel? What number you got?
I'm going to say they feel a little bit better. Surprisingly, I'm going to say maybe a 4.
Okay, so you went from a 7 to a 4.
7 to a 4.
Okay, that's a 35% drop in your pain level in less than
2 minutes.
Less than 120 seconds in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Fabulous. She's
I
pretty
wouldn't
good.
do it if it wasn't. So ask me what else you want to ask me. We're here.
I love it. So do you believe, like, clearly you believe the body is speaking to us? Am I correct in assuming that?
Yep.
Do you believe that inanimate things speak to us as well? I mean, humans speak to us, our body speaks to us. Do you believe other things speak to us as well? In other words, do you believe the environment speaks to us? Do you believe that our businesses speak to us? Do you believe
all things are animate from my perspective? All things are animate. And yes, the earth is not, it's not a thing.
Okay.
It's a she. It's like
it.
water isn't a thing, Danny. It's not.
I love it. Yeah. So with that, what I really want to know is, what do you feel that the world, the earth, everything around you, not is saying to us, but is saying to you? What does it want to tell you right now?
It's just expressing joy. It actually isn't asking for anything. It's just expressing joy, and it's reflecting and coming out through me.
So let me ask it a different way, because I get you. Like, I love that you see the world in different ways than people see. I see it those ways too. I always answer differently. What I'm wondering is to me, miracles happen in the world when we shift perspectives. When something we've always seen one way, we suddenly see somehow differently. And that all those things coexist at the same time. When something we've always heard one way, we suddenly listen and hear it saying something different, or singing a harmonious blend to that. So really what I'm asking you is, just like you did with me, not because I just love that process, is there something that you hear in this moment,
all the time?
And what is it that's being told to you now?
To do more, to reach out more, to connect more. Believe it or not, I am not someone who is really comfortable being seen. It took me a long time to get past that, a lot of years. And I, in fact, did not start working online and being seen until 3 years ago. Wow. And when I started, it sucked. It wasn't comfortable at all.
So what shifted? Like, I'm so interested in pivot points. What was the pivot point that you could help other people? Because I bet there are a lot of people like you that are like you were. Okay. In other words, they don't like to be seen. No. And yet it's time for them to be seen. What was the pivot point that came to you, that's coming back to you again right now and saying to you, it's time to be seen more?
Well, and this goes back to some other things. I am also a practicing psychic, clairvoyant, and medium. And I had a series of visions where God told me and showed me exactly what I was supposed to do, which was to work in video and connect. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I don't know how to do that, but I'm in. I'll do what you want. I'm in. And it was real uncomfortable at first. And I had $1 zillion.
What was uncomfortable?
Man, all of it. I didn't know how to I'm 63 years old. I am not techie even on a good day. I didn't know physically how to do it. And I thought, okay, I'm not sure what to say either. I know how to do the work, but you're going to have to help me with that. Don't let me down here. And, you know, people would show up. If I would ask for help, people would show up in my life to help. And it worked out and it got okay. And I've learned a lot. I know how to do it better and reach more people. And I'm still asking for help.
Fabulous. So the fact that it showed up again for you today, as you're talking now today, why do you think it showed up again today?
It's been here it's actually been here since you sent me the Zoom link.
Oh.
And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I started seeing it. It's like, okay, you better get it together here and figure out, you know, make this one really count, because this is an important conversation with him.
I love that. Thank you for giving me that honor.
Well, it just was. I know I've listened to you enough to know that I'm not done listening to you.
Huh. That's nice. Thank you. And vice versa. So that's a nice thing. Let me ask you this. Now that it's shown up, now that you hear that you are visible, slide to the right everything that you thought you would say at this moment. And tell me what's behind that. What is it that you're being asked to really say to people? I don't want the answer. I don't want the answer you've always given. I want you to slide that to the right. What is the answer that's there?
I don't think I've given this answer to anybody. It's God.
I love that.
God is right there. God is right here, now, here, in your own hands, in you, flowing through you. You cannot be disconnected. You can think you are, but you are physically incapable of not being connected to the divine.
And so now come back and sew that into your work with pain.
Yeah.
Tell me about how, if God is in us and we are feeling pain, how that all fits together.
Okay. The pain is here to get our attention. And when we begin to use this tool, and I think tapping is just training wheels right now, we are infinitely powerful eternal beings, infinitely powerful, and we don't know it. And we're figuring out how we're connected. And everybody that says, oh, we're all connected. And I would say, yeah, baby, and you are just as connected to the ones that you don't like over there as you are to the ones that you love.
Yeah.
It is inescapable. Get comfortable. And one of the cool things that happens when we're tapping, and it actually has a technical name, it's called borrowing benefits. It's not a very good name. I need to rename it. When one person is tapping and engaging their energy field and activating their energy field for someone else, you derive the benefit from what you're doing for that person. And it happens all the time. And I talk about it. I work live. I do this a couple times a week in my Facebook group for free, by the way. Come and do it. It's not a pitch. Come and join us.
Fabulous. Definitely. And we're gonna list that there. You can tell people it's a long link probably. So we'll list it in your.
I sent you the link.
Yeah, you sent it to me. So we're gonna put it right there. So.
We're creating a ripple when we tap and we don't know where it ends.
I love it. Is there something that you feel that you have wanted to say, but just haven't ever had the opportunity to say it?
I said it today with you because I thought about it before I came on. I asked for help. I said, please, I want your words to come through me.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for that honor of saying it here with us. Do you have a suggestion?
I think I said it pretty clear too.
Yeah, I think you did too. Do you have a suggestion to share with the world that might help it move from this, to help it move a little bit more gracefully through some of the muck that we need to move through to get to the miracle that we're about to experience?
We are experiencing the miracle now.
There
Stop
you go.
waiting for it. It's here, guys. Begin to relax into it a bit. And I know it isn't easy. It isn't always easy for me too. Believe me, I get it. But relax into this a little bit. Use some of these energy tools. I mean, this is what I use and teach. It works great. I have more than 100 free videos on YouTube. If you are frightened, if you're, I have one out for hopelessness that I did a year or two ago. I didn't think it was all that great, frankly. And somebody the other day posted on there that video kept them from wanting to die.
Hmm. Wow.
I mean, I
Yeah.
won't ever quit doing
Yeah.
that service. That is a service path to me in the world, and I love it.
Yeah.
But go make use of the tools that there are so many of us teaching and offering help. Make use of our help. Use us. It's why we're here. We're here to serve. We're here to help you.
Yeah. Love it. How do people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you? I mean, I know we're going to put your
There's
links in there, but is
my
there?
website. I mean, if they're in my Facebook group, they can just talk in my group.
Okay.
Or they can shoot me a message, or they can use my contact forms, or, I mean, there's all.
So the best way is through what? And your website is what?
It's apainplan.com.
A pain plan.
Right.
And we'll list that in there.
Yeah, because, and yeah, you've got all the links, but because this is a plan to help people get out of pain. This is not pain management. This is pain release, guys.
Wow.
And the difference is a big distinction. Management implies you're stuck with it. It might get better, but you're always going to have it. Release, there's hope in this.
Love it. Love it. I want to thank you so much for taking your time, for even doing more than that, for just feeling that this was the conversation you were going to have, not only with me, but the people that listened to this was an important conversation, and that you really sort of asked for guidance in it. And I just want to say to people, imagine what happens when two strangers meet who didn't know each other from Adam 2 minutes before they met. And look at how beautiful the conversation is. And again, over and over and over again, I want to invite you to take the opportunity to pause from your day and just go up to somebody that you don't know. Call somebody you haven't spoken to in a long time and reconnect. And let's just ask people how they're doing. Let them, if they want to teach you, let them teach you. If they want to just talk to you, let them talk to you. If they want to learn from you, let them learn from you. Like there doesn't have to be a rule book involved in it, right?
Nope.
That
No.
it's just allow people the space to say what they need to say, because in this world that we live in, there are 8 million voices speaking, and all of those voices are making noise. We need to be able to communicate with each other in a way where people speak and we're listened. I've had the beautiful opportunity, and I've said this all the time, of being able to mix with some of the wealthiest people in the world, to sit at their dining room tables, to sit in their living rooms, to meet their children and meet their parents, and to have real dialogue with them, and have them ask me things and me ask them things. And not because we were teaching each other, just because we were friends. And I've also had the same beautiful, beautiful, exquisite opportunity to sit on cardboard boxes with some of the poorest people in the world and do exactly the same thing, to share meals with them. The meals may have been less elaborate, but we shared meals together, and we sat and we just touched each other and talked to each other, and gave counsel to each other and helped each other. Not because one was better than the other, but because we just wanted to know each other a little bit more. In every single case, no matter how much money they had or how much they didn't have, no matter what color their skin or what religion they practiced, what border they lived behind, or what nationality they were.
That's another reason I said yes to you, because one person makes a difference, one person matters, one person counts.
Beautiful.
To you.
So every single person that I spoke to wanted exactly the same thing. They wanted to be loved and accepted. They wanted to be listened to and heard. They wanted to be acknowledged and validated. take a moment and just do that for each other. And if we can have 50 conversations with 50 strangers, you can have them too. The world, I believe, will be a kinder, gentler, better place if we just open up to each other and just listen to each other. We don't have to fight each other. But when we talk to each other, we find that we agree on so many things that what we disagree on seems almost insignificant.
Yeah.
Sharon, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking your time to be here with us. I want to thank those people who are listening for taking your time out of your day, your most valuable thing, for taking your time to be with us. And with big love, I can't wait to keep this conversation going with you, Sharon, and to keep the conversation going with those people who are listening.
Me
Until
too.
next time, ciao.